Okay, so in this practical, what we're going to do now is to try to make the whole thing more realistic. I've added some extra data, some more authentic data, such as true authors, put in abstracts, put in some intros, and also hyperlink for each of these papers. Okay, and what I'm going to try to do now is to actually show the contents of this database with, for example, the title will be a link embedded in it, so the user could click on it to go to the paper itself. Underneath the author, title, and week data, there will be the abstract. Okay, and I noticed I've got an empty abstract field here. I'll just fill that up now for now, just to just make sure there's no errors. So a nice paper, or just something very simple. Okay, so what I've got there now is I've got all the full data, and what I'm going to do is now to show it. Now, in order to show that abstract, then obviously the abstract is of a much larger quantity of data. It's much larger, and it won't fit in the same kinds of cells that we have used for the author, title, and the week. So what I'm going to have to do is produce maybe a cell underneath it, which occupies the same horizontal space as the entire 3 cells above it. Okay, in order that on the first level there'll be the author, the title, and the week, and the second one underneath will be the whole of the abstract. So I've got a few things we need to do here. So let's go back into the code and try to accomplish them. Okay, so let's go into the mobile standards VB page, which is the code behind for this page. So as I say, the way we actually display the data is, as you know, we make a call to the database. We return back a data reader object, which contains, at the moment, it will contain 4 fields, 4 records, because we want every single record in the database. We read through the records, and for each one, we create a table row. We create a cell which we put into the row. Okay, and then eventually we add the row to the table. So what I propose to do now is we're going to not only create just one row, we're going to create a second row as well for each record, and in the second row is going to be the entirety of the text of the abstract. Now, if we're going to do that, we're going to need a much larger cell than what we've currently got here. The getCellWithText function that we've written before is for producing a very simple cell with a small amount of text in it. What we're going to have to do now is create another function which is going to be for producing a cell which will occupy 3 columns, essentially. So it's essentially we're going to just have to rewrite getCellWithText here. Okay, what I'm going to do is going to more or less kind of copy it. We're doing to make just a few kind of differences. Okay, so if I just copy it now, okay. This of course is not good programming practice. What we shouldn't ever copy code. You should always kind of redefine it and refactor it. But for now, just for speed purposes, I'm going to just copy it and change it slightly. Get wide cell with text. There's going to be exactly the same structure. We're going to pass in a string. We're going to create a cell, but let's make the cell have a width of three columns. So let's say my cell dot column span. Okay, my cell dot column span equals 3. Okay, so now we know that this is going to be a much larger cell than the getCellWithText function. This is going to produce a much larger cell, and inside the text is going to be the cell str. Okay, so again here, so what we've done here, we've created a row, put 3 fields in it, and added it to the table. Now we're going to create another row, dim tr2 as new table row. Okay, and then I'm going to say tr2.controls.add get wide cell with text. Okay, get wide cell with text, open bracket, and I'm going to put in here db read.item, open bracket, quote, abstract. Okay, so then, and that's going to require 3 brackets, isn't it, to actually close it up. So therefore, we've added another control. So we've added another cell into that row, and now all we need to do now is add the row to the table. So we say T, which is the table itself, controls.add, and we say tr2. Okay, so now by doing that, what we should be able to do now is display the abstract of the paper underneath the list of author title and weeks. So let's kind of show that. Let me start debugging. As usual, a bit slow on my machine, so here it is. Anyway, here's Firefox coming up, and there it is. Okay, so now you see we have the paper, the abstract underneath, the paper, the abstract underneath, the paper, the abstract underneath, the paper, and the abstract underneath. Okay, so so this is a nice solution, but although on the other hand it's nice in some ways but not in others, namely that it's not that easy to tell the difference, you know, when one paper starts and when the next paper ends. It might be nice to have these rows having a certain different look about them to the other rows.